Picture yourself in France back in 1789. The tension in the air is thick. You could cut it with a knife. The ordinary folks have been dealing with a lot. They're fed up with the king and the rich people who seem to keep all the money to themselves. Plus, there's not enough food, and people are going hungry. You can feel the frustration and anger simmering everywhere you go. So, the king, realizing things are spiraling out of control, decides to try and fix things by calling a big meeting called the Estates General. He hopes it'll help sort out the mess, but by this point, it's too little, too late. On June 17th, the regular folks, who are called the Third Estate, stand up and say, "Hey, we're in charge now." This is a major moment. It's like the first big earthquake of the revolution. The powerful people who've been running things start to panic because suddenly the voices of the regular people who've been ignored for far too long are demanding fairness and equality. It's a turning point in history, marking the start of something huge. Imagine the scene on July 14th, 1789, in Paris. It's like a powder keg ready to blow. Furious rebels decide they've had enough and storm the Bastille Fortress, which everyone hates because it's a symbol of how the king treats them like dirt. It's a huge showdown, but the rebels manage to break in, and they grab the governor and take him off to be executed. This moment is a game changer. It sets off a massive wave of revolution that shakes France to its core. The mighty walls of the Bastille come crashing down under the force of the people's anger, making way for a new era of freedom. After the dust settles, the National Assembly wastes no time. They get rid of the old feudal system and take away all the special privileges the rich nobles used to have. It's like they're saying, enough is enough. Then, they declared a new era of fairness and equality by adopting something called the Declaration of the Rights of Man. The ink on the paper is barely dry when cheers erupt from the streets, celebrating the birth of a brand new nation. As the revolution continued to shake France to its core, King Louis XVI made a huge choice in 1791. He decided to sneak out of Paris, but his plan to stop the revolution in its tracks totally backfires. He gets caught and dragged back to face the music. Then, in a move that really sticks to the idea of having a king, the National Convention decided to scrap the whole monarchy thing and say, France is now a republic in 1792. The throne that used to be so powerful sits empty. A reminder of how quickly things can change. The next year, the ex-king is found guilty of treason and gets the ultimate punishment. He's executed by guillotine. It's a jaw-dropping end to centuries of Bourbon family rule. The revolution doesn't hold back, even when it comes to taking down its own leaders. The streets are filled with the eerie sound of carts carrying people off to their doom, while the revolution keeps brewing like a big storm on the horizon. With the old power structure shattered, a radical group called the Jacobins, led by Robespierre, steps in to fill the void. This marks the beginning of a dark period known as the Reign of Terror, which lasted from 1793 to 1794. During this time, the Jacobins launched a brutal campaign to eliminate anyone seen as an enemy of the revolution. Thousands of people are rounded up, thrown into prison, and then swiftly executed by the guillotine, often on flimsy or false charges. The blade falls without mercy, showing no regard for innocence or guilt as it carries out what it sees as justice. Paris becomes a city painted red with blood as these executions happen almost every day, creating a horrifying spectacle for all to see. Even those who were once leaders of the revolution, like Danton, are not spared from the guillotine's blade. It's like the revolution is consuming its own children as it desperately seeks to maintain its purity of ideals. Fear spreads like wildfire through the streets as people turn against each other, with suspicion poisoning the very air they breathe. After years of turmoil and violence, the revolution came to a stop in 1799 when a young military leader named Napoleon Bonaparte took control in a sudden overthrow of power. Tired of all the chaos and bloodshed, the French people traded the uncertainty of revolution for the strict rule of a new emperor. The sounds of cannons were replaced by the steady beat of martial law as order returned, enforced with a strong hand. Napoleon went on to declare himself emperor in 1804, marking the end of the revolutionary era. However, the ideas that sparked the revolution, like liberty, equality, and individual rights, didn't just disappear. They became a part of the fabric of society, ingrained in the collective consciousness of the French people and beyond. The French Revolution left an enduring legacy, forever altering the path of France and the world. From the ashes of the old order, a new empire emerged, shaped by the events that had unfolded. And there you have it, the story of the French Revolution, a saga of upheaval and transformation. From the storming of the Bastille to the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte, it was a time of both triumph and tragedy. Yet, amidst the chaos, the ideals of liberty, equality, and individual rights endured, shaping the course of history and inspiring generations to come.